All right, thanks for the rain, guys. So we do have a bit of an announcement. The Batman race is actually going to be postponed until further notice. So we're gonna actually skim ahead as soon as we can get everybody ready to the Metal Gear Solid 2 race. Um, so we obviously have some time. There is a bid war going on right now for the Metal Gear Solid 2 game. It's a language bid war between the English and Japanese versions, so we can keep that open until we're about to start. Right now, the Japanese version is in the lead with $10. And we did have one donation during the Mega Man 11 run, so shout out to Froggy11235, who just says "for funsies?" of $11. So thanks, Froggy. And they also put their donation towards the name, I'm gonna say Marl for Chrono Trigger, for to rename Luca. Oh, as we get set up for the Metal Gear 2 Solid race, just a reminder that we do have other bid wars going on, of course. Obviously, the Chrono Trigger one that I mentioned before, there's bid wars going on for all the naming of the characters. But before that, coming up in a couple of races, there's one going on for the Sonic R run between snow and no snow. Currently, there are no bids for that bid war, so yeah. And there are raffle prizes going on as well during this marathon. So for $4 for each ballot, you get entered into a draw to win either the NES Perlers, the Simon Belmont Perlers, Chrono Trigger Perlers, kindly donated by Kakun. I'm gonna butcher your name, so I'm sorry, Cat. I'm just gonna leave it at Cat. Gooby with the Simon Belmont, and Chrono Trigger with Wifey, or from my right, Wifey Keat. For $10, there's the Pixels for Peace Sparkster reproduction cartridge. I'm assuming it's a reproduction. I'm not. Don't quote me on that. By Witty Conquest, so thanks for that. And Mannix, of course, putting up an Xbox One console at $20. Pixels for Peace Marathon is all the money is being donated to the Save the Children Foundation. So it's get the money in and help save the children. A few other runs we have coming up today are right after this is Mega Man 8, and then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Right after that will be the Sonic R race with the open bid war for Snow or Not Snow. Again, we don't have any donations in for that, so get something in if you either want to see snow or no snow. The Streets of Rage is also today, as well as Chrono Trigger. We are still pretty far away from the bonus game of Barbie. It's we only have $30 of donations in out of 200, so we need another 170 there. And order to do an all forts run of the new new Super Luigi, we need $214 still of the 250 total. So obviously there'll be a bit of a delay here as we are postponing the Batman race, the Batman race. Just waiting to try and get the Metal Gear Solid 2 boys together. We've raised $1,176 so far. That's fantastic. See if we can't get that a little higher. It would be nice to see if we could get the bonus Barbie game, but there's still lots of time for that. So I'm confident we'll get there. All money donated during this marathon will be donated to the Save the Children Foundation, and we are still just waiting to get set up for Metal Gear Solid 2 race because we have had to, unfortunately, postpone the Batman race. So bear with us there. that does shorten the amount of time for the language bid war for Metal Gear Solid 2. So if we have any last minute donations to get in, right now it's just Japanese language sitting at 10 and English sitting at 0. And that will close just before the run starts, obviously.
Okay. All right. See you, Plywood.
Okay, hello everybody.
Hey, what's going on?
I think this thing's live.
I think you're right.
All right, we're live. Except my feed has been shut down. I'm supposed to be on a separate feed. Oh. All right, fantastic. So, hi everybody. My name's Plywood, and I will be commentating for this Metal Gear Solid 2 European Extreme Race on PS3 HD collection. And we're going to be using the Japanese language here, the Japanese version. Oh, I'm supposed to be joined by Apache Smash. He's not here yet, and I am not going to pretend I'm British and have like a weird conversation with myself. Like, this is not going to work. So instead, you're just going to be hearing the dulcet tones of me. So I think both of the runners are ready whenever.
All right.
So
we'll close the bid war then, and we'll say the Japanese language.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say we're going weeb today.
All right. Well, good luck with the race.
Yes, good luck to D Limes and Tyler 22. Ugh, excuse me. So, if you're unfamiliar with this run, this is the highest difficulty European Extreme, where most bosses kill you in one hit. Guard shots will take you out in 3 shots. There are no rations, which is the healing item in the game. Guards see very well and hear very well, so they have quite the aggro range or notice range. Among some other things that we'll note throughout, but that's the core deal. We're starting with the Tanker chapter, where we will be playing as the Solid Snake. It's going to be about 8 or 9 minutes, give or take. Now, if you look at other runs of this game, you'll see people go to the right side, but you cannot go to the right side on the higher difficulties, so they will go the left side to deck a cruise quarters port. And the strat here is to trank the guard and then roll into him as he's making the call. Since the boss of this area, Olga, she kills in one shot. It doesn't really matter if you're taking shots here, so you're going to see both of these runners do a strat where they double trank and hold up the guard. Both of these runners are very good at this category and quite good at this game in general. D-Limes has a lot of the world records in this game. Tyler's been running this game for quite a long time, has had his own share of records to boot. So this is going to be a pretty exciting race. These two are quite competitive evenly matched, I would say, in a race environment. D-Lime's opting to just roll and take the shot, but Tyler doing a little strat where you shoot the wall at a certain point to distract the guard that's in the corner over there, which saves you from getting shot. It saves a little bit of time. Now going into Olga, depending on whether Olga goes left or right will determine the pace of your fight here. D-Lime's got right Olga, which is the slower Olga. Let's see what Tyler gets. He got left Olga, so if you watch Tyler's screen, he's going to bait Olga into reloading and then doing a loop. And this loop is going to allow him to skip the little cutscene that D-Limes is encountering right now. So as long as Tyler doesn't miss any of his shots, he'll be out of Olga before D-Limes is. Now, honestly, the difference was not too big here because D-Limes got a very nice set of shots for right Olga. But Tyler just got a little bit of a lead. Again, we're only a few minutes in, so anything can really change, and especially once we get to the plant chapter, which is the bulk of the run, things can get pretty wacky. Okay, so now that we've fought Olga, we now have the USP, which we need to complete the tanker, because we need to shoot out some sensors with the USP by the engine room. Right there, you're going to see both runners do a little warning shot. This is going to position the guard in such a way that we will be able to run right past him and not cause an alert. Once again here, using a warning shot to cause this guard to pull onto his radio and then moving on ahead. Now here's a very tricky shot that Tyler went for, but he missed it. If you can get a very quick lock on while going down the stairs, you can automatically trank that guard. D-Limes went for the safer, easier strategy, the one I personally do, which is just run down the stairs and then trank him once you get down. Now this room is really tricky, the engine room. There's a very tight cycle you're trying to land here on European Extreme. So your movement has to be very good to meet that cycle. We'll see if either of them get the cycle. I don't think either of them got the cycle. So the goal is for this guard not to notice us, but it's okay. We'll just shoot out his radio. And now that we're on caution, or the guard is running away, we skip a little cutscene there of a guard entering this area, and then shoot out the sensors, making sure not to blow up the boat because that is bad business. Now we enter Deck 2 port. Alright, so coming up is the guard rush, as we like to call it. We're going to be going into another area after this one, and we'll be fighting several guards, one after the other, which is essentially the second boss of this level, the tanker. Just trank this guard a couple of times, then he'll fall asleep. And you'll see Tyler and D-Limes using a little buffer to walk past the music guard, listening to his tambourine music. Okay, so starboard. This is where we're going to see the guard encounter. Tyler's actually picking up some M9 bullets. He's feeling a little bit unsure. So he's picking up some safety bullets, which, you know, that could help him out. So I don't blame him. You don't want to be in this fight without enough ammo. Ooh, that is rough. So Tyler messed up his movement at the start. Now he only has one hit to death, unlike D-Limes. So, oh, and he died. Yeah, so the guard rush for sure can be really tricky, especially if your intro is bad. You take damage like that. You know, as I said earlier, it's only 3 shots till death, and they both took a shot in the engine room. Okay, if you're looking at D-Limes right now, he's gonna kill. Oh boy, I don't know if he actually got the strat there, but the goal is to kill all the guards, the last 3 guards with the USP, before the game actually registers that they're dead. But he actually missed his shot, so if we looked at the end score screen, it may actually say that they were killed. Anyways, this is the ladder glitch. Essentially what happens here is that you mount the ladder while equipping the camera, and that completely messes with Snake's animation, and then you can just zip to the bottom. And if you stand in just the right spot, or move in just the right spot, you can actually run at the top. It's kind of hard to explain. Just a little bit above the projector, and you won't cast the shadow. But if you're too far down, it will cast the shadow on the projector. We'll see Tyler go for it here. He messed up the start. The start of this can be a little bit tricky with the ladder glitch because, you have to equip the camera and mount the ladder at the same time, so it can be a little precise. And ooh, got spotted by the guard on the top left. That's rough. Meanwhile, on D-Lime's screen, he is taking the photos for Metal Gear Ray, so you can input them into the computer and complete the tanker chapter. You have to take 5 photos. I think, is it 5? 1, 2, no, it's 4. You take 4 photos, and one of the photos really shouldn't work the way it does. That's the Marines logo. You can actually take a photo of the Marines logo from not where it is, which is on the back side of Ray, exploiting the strange camera functionality in this game. D-Limes is now out of tanker, heading into plant, and Tyler is finishing up plant. Or not plant, tanker, excuse me. Ugh. Finishing up the snaky snake part, and then we're going to the righty part. So, Raiden plays a little bit differently than Snake. You're going to be noticing that both runners are going to be doing a cartwheel, rolling in air, spinny kicky. And that actually does save time in a straightaway. So you'll be seeing them do that in straightaways. It also allows you to clear gaps, and there will be gaps that Raiden will be clearing throughout plant. So in a sense, MGS2 is a platformer. So, you could put this right next to like Super Mario and Sonic the Hedgehog. This is a platforming game. So the start of this area is essentially a tutorial because the game allows you to select tanker or plant as your starting level. So we're going through a little bit of a tutorial area. Pretty simple situation here. We just choke this guard that's in the corner as he gets up, and then groin punch him. Do the reverse groin punch. If you groin punch, the guard gets knocked out, so we'll be seeing that be used a little bit here. Since we don't have any weapons yet, we don't have a way to incapacitate them otherwise. That's what you'll see both of them doing. It doesn't really matter too much how you do the dock area. It's really just a matter of getting into the elevator as quickly as possible. So we're heading over to Strut C, and that is where Pete Stillman is. And Pete's going to explain to us how to freeze bombs. We're going to be disposing of bombs for a bit here. For about 15 minutes or so, 10 or 15 minutes, around those lines. The first chunk of plant sees us going from strut to strut and freezing bombs to dispose of them. Now, the deal is that if you're playing this casually, you have to go looking all around, being like, where's the bomb? Where should I go? And you'll probably like skip a bomb and like go to another strut. No. When we're speedrunning, we go either clockwise or counterclockwise. Clockwise is more for lower difficulties, but on European Extreme, we're going to see the runners go counterclockwise to dispose of the bombs. With the last bomb being the bomb in strut C, which sounds counterintuitive, but it's basically a timing thing and a how guards spawn in. It's better to do the strut C bomb last rather than first. As you can see, D-Lime's using the cartwheel to gain forward momentum while a codec is being played. Knowing where the codecs are in this game means a lot, because if you're not ready for a codec, that does lose you time overall, and you have to be worried about those codecs where there's a save prompt. And if you open up the save menu, you're going to be losing a lot of time on PS3. Much more than you'd think, especially if you have a lot of saves, which I think both D-Limes and Tyler probably have a lot of saves for practice purposes. All right, so I have information to report. Apache Smash will not be joining because he had to go to the dentist, emergency dentist visit, so he can't even talk. So folks, if you were looking for some British accents, I can't help you with that. But I'm here. We're in for the long haul. We're here for Metal Gear Solid 2 HD Edition, European Extreme. So D-Limes just took out a Cypher. It's just 3 shots while you're auto-aiming to take out the Cypher. Auto-aiming is very useful in this game. You hold L1. Well, you hold L1 so you can run around while holding up the gun. But you'll watch the character change their aim to a target, and then you'll know you can aim at that target. You can also auto-aim in first-person view, which is pretty useful. Okay, this strat's pretty funny. So there's a certain spot on the wall there where if you cartwheel, you'll knock the guard off the rail and he'll fall into the ocean. That doesn't actually count as a kill according to the game. It's essentially an accident, so... Though oddly enough, it really is about like what's inbounds and out of bounds. Like if a guard falls from like one part of the area to another, like let's say he falls down a floor, that will actually count as a kill. But if they fall like into the ocean, that's not counted as a kill. It's very weird. All right, so Strut A, Pump Room. What you're going to see D-Limes do here, actually got a nice groin punch there. He's going to be freezing the bomb from the wrong side. There's a certain angle you can hit, and you'll be able to freeze the bomb from the wrong side. The other thing you'll see is that he's getting up kind of weird, and that's what we call coolant rise. You go into first person with the coolant out while prone, press X to stand up, and then you equip your other weapon. This will cancel out the animation of standing up. It saves about a second if you can do it right, every time. And that can help with our cycles in certain rooms. So nice execution from D-Limes there, shooting out that guard's radio and not him in the face. And Strut F here, you gotta throw that chap very quickly. We're talking the moment you enter the room. Otherwise, you'll cause an alert from that guard calling in the radio. And then here, once again, with a very tricky position, we can freeze this bomb from this little crack. saves a bit of time over dropping from the top. Pick up those stun grenades as we're exiting, because we're going to need them for later. And Tyler demonstrating how the nut punch, the groin punch, can be pretty tricky. You got to punch at just the right spot and be close enough for it to work properly. So your D-Limes throws a chaff again immediately for this room. This is the infamous EF bridge, which has claymores that if you trip any of them, you're going to immediately cause an alert. He's going to cartwheel and pick up a claymore and then run straight ahead. And then the chaff goes off, and then the ciphers are no big deal. But Strut E is a bit tricky because now there is a backup unit guard here. And this backup unit, if backup unit spots you, that is an automatic alert. That's the guy with the big black helmet. But D-Lines makes quick work of all the guards and the cameras for later on, tranking the guard. Shooting out yet another camera while he's at it. Talk about efficiency. I mean, that's good. And it's important because we need to make sure that we match the cycle for this bomb on this crate. So this is essentially a big auto-scroller, or I guess bottleneck. We have a deadline to meet with that bomb. And D-Limes is heading up to the Strut E heliport where the coolant rise is going to come into big play to have the fastest cycle possible with that room, as Tyler sees what he can do at the EF bridge and parcel room. Now, you may have noticed that D-Limes was firing the SOCOM pistol without really caring in the parcel room Strut E. The deal is, though, that it's so loud in there that if you're far enough away, the guards won't actually hear the SOCOM shot go off. Now, there is an effective range to that. You can't just, like, fire a SOCOM shot, like, right next to a guard. They will hear it, but since there's so much noise in this room, it muffles the shot. D-Limes actually takes a bit of a safer approach exiting Strut E, one that Tyler does not do. He goes up the top path, and we're going to see that Tyler's going to do, well, I think he's going to at least go the middle path and do a very tricky little box equip to stop them from shooting him. Strut D here can actually depend on whether you're playing on New Game Plus or Plus Plus. Both runners are playing on New Game Plus, so they're taking this top route. The bomb layout just changes between them. D-Lime's doing a little cheeky knock and then picking up some SOCOM ammo. Did he actually hit that guard? If he did hit that guard, that was an impressive shot. Yeah, I think he did. He certainly did. Wow. Well done by D-Limes there. That was a pretty clean Strut D, if I do say so myself. This is actually one of the trickier rooms in this bomb disposal, since there's a lot of guards, and because of how easily they see you, you may think you're safe, but you really aren't. Meanwhile, Tyler is doing his parcel room exit. Very important that we get that codec on the first frame by holding select, and ooh, he went crouched. He didn't go prone, which is nice, but he did go crouch. Right, so what's kind of weird about the box is if you have the box equipped when a guard spots you, they won't actually shoot at you for whatever reason, so you'll be seeing both runners exploit that. Tyler did that wonderfully in Strut E. That does save a little bit of time over what D-Limes did. And Tyler's going to be going for an even trickier strategy that is a bit more involved as far as the approach here compared to D-Limes. He's going to open up this latch and use the animation of that cutscene to avoid getting shot, because while that cutscene's playing, you actually have invincibility. And then the guard will shoot and just miss, essentially. and then trank and roll into them. Whenever you trank into a guard and roll into them, they'll actually fall asleep. Since they're already on the ground, I guess they want to take the dirt nap. So that was actually pretty good on Tyler's part. And a very interesting contrast we can see between the two runners. D-Lime's going for something a bit safer, more consistent. Tyler going for something a little bit more fast and furious, but I mean, I kind of get it because he is behind, so he has to try to make up time. This is not an insurmountable gap, by the way. This is still anyone's race because we really won't know how well either of them are doing until we get to the bid game. That's where we're going to really start seeing pace, but even then, the end game can completely flip pace, as I am very well aware, and someone I race, Platonic Guy, when we raced regular extreme, the pace completely changed at the end of the game due to some pretty bizarre luck. We'll get into that later, but we're essentially done with the bulk of bomb disposal. Now we're going to be going into a couple of bosses here. We have to return to where we started to defuse yet another bomb. And this bomb can be in different locations depending on the difficulty. On Extreme European Extreme, the bomb is just kind of sitting on the wall, because that is a very well hidden bomb. Of course. I think more of the pressure is if you're playing this casually, you don't get a lot of time on Extreme, so you know you better be on your game to find that bomb. Tyler demonstrating the cartwheel strat, and D-Lime's now going to fight Fortune in quotation marks. The goal of this fight isn't to actually fight Fortune, it is to make her destroy the forklift, because that is tied to the speed of this fight, and then just avoid damage. Now, D-Limes is going with the cardboard box strat. This is a slightly slower strategy due to lag, but arguably easier. I find this strategy a lot easier to accomplish. Because the cardboard box allows you to turn more quickly and you have a lower profile, as long as you time your turns properly, Fortune will never hit you while you're in the box. Now, you don't want to get hit by this railgun. It'll probably kill you. It's pretty dangerous, especially, like, let's say at Tyler's health. But it's just a matter of rotating back and forth. You can use the boxes as cover, but they don't last forever. Tyler's going to be doing a completely different strategy, though, I'd imagine. I can't see him doing anything differently. He's going to be abusing I-frames, invincibility frames, from popping in and out. Unless he proves me wrong. No, I think he's going for this. So basically you go to certain spots in this arena and then just pop out over and over again. And while you're popping out, you have invincibility frames. So it looks very weird, but it works super well. The only thing is that you have to pace out your pop outs appropriately and start them appropriately, which is the thing that always messed me up when I was doing this strategy. It's very important that you enter this fight with 0 bullets if you're doing this pop-out strategy, so Raiden doesn't shoot at Fortune and cause an unskippable little cutscene. All right, looking over to D-Limes, he's about to enter the infamous Strut F yet again. And he's going to be doing a safer strategy here, spraying the guard, cartwheeling into him, which I think we'll probably see the more risky strat from Tyler in a little bit here after he's done with Fortune and popping out over and over again. D-Limes is going to stop in place once he hits this little shadow to let the Cypher go on by. And then here in Strut E, he needs to equip the box to avoid being spotted and then shoot a warning shot. Oh yeah, I think he messed it up a little bit. I think he went maybe a little bit too late, and that's why he got shot there. Which is not good. You want to have as much HP as possible going into Fat Man. He can do decent damage to you, especially because this fight is a bit random with his pathing and how he bounces around the stage. So Fat Man is a big guy on roller skates who plants bombs and drinks wine out of a straw. And audio cues are pretty key here after the start, so we know where he's skating to. As Tyler does the more tricky strat in the warehouse. Very well done. So you got to shoot out his roller skate, knock him to the ground, get a quick shot off on his skull, and then freeze the other bomb. Then he's going to dance in place, and you shoot his skate again. You can get 2 shots every time Fat Man lands. Our visual cue is the red dot appearing, and when you do damage to Fat Man and he stands back up, he has iframes for a little bit, so you're going to see the runners delay for a moment and then start shooting him to knock him down. There's other ways of knocking him down, like punch kicking, but you have to be he has to be standing still for that to be viable. And it looks like D-Lime's actually having a fairly good Fat Man here. He's getting those double shots. It's very nice. It's good that Fat Man tries to counterattack with his little machine gun, because that means he's wasting his iframes. That was a really good fight for D-Limes. So definitely not letting go of his lead with the Fat Man fight. Well done. Let's see how Tyler handles it. Getting a very tricky little freeze on the corner there and shooting out the skate. The start of this fight is really, really important. That way you can get some easy shots off on Fat Man and be able to follow him around. Really don't want to lose track of this guy. He's a bit of a troublemaker. And if he plants a lot of bombs and he clicks that timer, you're pretty much screwed. So... but Tyler's doing a fairly good job so far. Too bad he didn't get that double shot there. It can be sometimes really tricky to land the double shot because, again, Fat Man bounces randomly. You don't really know how he's going to bounce. Like, he could bounce off the corner of a box unexpectedly, and then you'll just be like, I can't hit him. He bounced like 45 degrees just at the end. So you got to keep your cool with Fat Man. Tyler did a pretty good job. I think both of these runners had pretty good Fat Mans, I reckon. So he's going to be going through his series of cutscenes, and we're going to go bring our attention back to D-Limes, who now has to go... oh, man, he had the prone. So worth explaining there, if you cartwheel at the wrong time on certain thresholds, such as like at the tops of stairs or like going through certain doors, you can actually lose your acceleration. And the whole thing with cartwheels and rolls in this game, you have to be at a certain speed for the cartwheel to work, and that little bit of deacceleration can cause you to go prone or crouched. So that's what happened to D-Limes there. You want to like go down the stairs just a little bit before you try to cartwheel because of that. So we're going back into this area to pick up the AK, because we're going to be disguising ourselves going into Shell 1 core. Between the battle dress uniform and the AK, we are now fully decked out to disguise ourselves. And again, using auto aim here to take out the Cypher. Pick up some ammo while we're at it. And now we are one with the Shell 1 core. We need to go find a contact named Ames, who has a wonderful hairstyle, if I do say so myself. But before we do that, we need to go to the B2 to pick up a directional microphone to tell who Ames is among the hostages. You're going to see that there's going to be a guard here who's going to cause some unskippable cutscenes. That's the running man. He likes to run around in laps around this area. There is a way actually to avoid that cutscene, but it involves going into caution. Caution typically removes a lot of the little unskippable cutscenes. Caution and alert will remove those little cutscenes, but we don't want to be on alert on European Extremes. It's a bad scene. And here's a wonderful little setup. Courtesy of I was about to say courtesy of D-Limes. That's not true. Courtesy of Azu. Oh wait, what is this? Oh, he's actually going to pick up the locker grenades. He's being very, very careful. I mean, I understand. It is a race. Maybe Tyler's going to be going for that setup. We'll see. But D-Limes is totally decked out on stun grenades. He's very much prepared for the end game here. I was a little bit surprised. I thought he was actually going to go for the setup, but hey. Tyler's actually going the right side here. Ooh, oh man. Almost ran into that guard. You do not want to run into a guard while you're disguised. Okay, so Ames spawns in a random spot on New Game Plus and Plus Plus. This is an okay spawn. It's not the worst. This is fine. The spawn that D-Limes got is fine. If Ames spawns in a bad spot, you have to do a backup that involves a glitch that allows you to talk to him without having to worry about guard cycles. Okay, Tyler's going for the setup. So you do 2 punches, and then another punch, and then stand still, and then you just grab the guard like that. It's very clean. Which again, I totally get why Tyler's doing that. He's trying to claw back a lead here. D-Lime's exiting the Shell 1 core on caution. This is a very tricky area. Tranking the guard and using the box to avoid getting shot. Going up to the first floor, and 1F is a lot of anxiety. You gotta throw the chaff in such a way, wait for the cameras, and then trank the backup unit guard. Hopefully get around the corner without getting shot. Fortunately, D-Lime's dog did get shot. That's okay. It's not too big of a deal, but so right here, as D-Limes is coming back to EF, those platforms that are gone, those will stay until near the end of the plant chapter. So you have to remember how well you did with the cartwheels there for the lost panels. He did fine, so it's not a big deal, but ooh, he took another shot, and he didn't shoot out the radio there. You want to shoot out that guard's radio so he runs away. Now D-Limes is going to have to do something not how you want to really do it. Yeah, he has to do a backup where he drops to the rail, but it's okay. It's just that if he takes another shot, he's dead, so. We also want that guard alive, or not, well, not asleep. That way he'll call in another caution. Tyler getting around that corner eventually, and now D-Limes is using the box to disguise himself among the boxes. Be one with the box. Remember that. So we're about to approach the 1-2 connecting bridge to connect both shells of this, well, 2 shells of the big shell. Connect this plant together. And there's going to be a series of sensors that both runners are going to have to shoot out. First, D-Limes. These sensors are for bombs that are set to blow up the bridge. There's more bombs on the higher difficulties, including two ciphers, or little UAVs, that have sensors on the top of them. And if you accidentally shoot the cipher, that blows up that blows up the bridge, so you gotta be careful with that. We'll see if D-Limes hit lands a shot. He did. That's the shot you really don't want to miss. There's a lot of different ways to approaching the bomb disposal here. Oh, he didn't hit that bomb. He didn't hit that bomb with the birds. That cost him a little bit of time that he had to go back. But it's not too big of a deal. This is still fairly fast. But it's annoying when you, like, thought you hit a bomb, but you really didn't. Okay, so this is the Harrier. This is arguably the hardest fight in the entire game. Both to learn, to execute, and to optimize. That's actually 3 things, not both. But you got to pick up the Stinger immediately, and then you want to try to hit the Harrier on the outside wing. That does the most damage. And let's see if D-Limes can get that 5 shot. He most certainly did. That means he has the opportunity for the fastest Harrier possible. Meanwhile, Tyler's not using the rifle. He uses the SOCOM, but he's running out of ammo. Hopefully he doesn't lose out. As D-Limes gets those shots off on the Harrier while it's on the opposite side. And then he's going to get into this position to get a cheeky little shot during this cutscene. Once he starts saying die and the missiles deploy, you can exit the cutscene, fire a missile, and it's going to lock on. And then you fire another missile after that. Hits. You get some easy shots on the Harrier, and every hit really counts on extreme since the Harrier takes a lot more damage to go down. And then here's a pop out. Try to get a nice shot while it's flying over. You got to time that properly, because if you mess up the timing on that, you'll actually die. The Stinger will blow up right in your face. So that's fun. Let's see if I can't quite tell if D-Limes is... Oh, okay. He was like, maybe I'll try to squeeze in another shot, but he's like, I probably shouldn't do that, which is probably the best call, because like if he failed that, if he tried to squeeze in another shot like that, he would have been in big trouble. Let's see if he can actually take out the Harrier before it flies away. All right, he did. That was pretty tight though, more tight than I think D-Limes would prefer it. As Tyler's doing his die shots, and we'll see if Tyler can get a cleaner execution before the missiles start coming out. D-Limes is about to do the big leap of faith. You got to position yourself just right and angle yourself just right and time your roll just right, and then you can cartwheel across this gap. While Tyler, oh, he said, you know what? I'm not going to do the shot. I'm a little bit too nervous about that. I totally get it. Again, if you miss that shot, you mess up that shot, you just kill yourself, and then you have to start the whole fight over again. And at that point, Tyler is going to have he's going to have to work pretty hard to get back into back in the lead. D-Limes using the BDU here. It's very key to use the BDU here so you can hit this cycle and get onto this ladder. Otherwise, the guards will see you. The BDU does act as a form of camouflage. And will Tyler also clear this before it flies away? No, he missed. He was just 1 missile short. 1 missile short. Oh, that is so rough. I've been there, buddy. I've been there. But it's okay. It's just 1 missile. But still, you know, it's not something you want at this point where we're about halfway through the game. Trying to get that lead back. It's still anyone's game though. This is not insurmountable still. Very important that you unequip the BDU going into Shell 2 core, because the cutscenes here will play longer if you have the BDU equipped. It's very weird. Some may think this is just psychology, but no. This is very real-time loss if you have the BDU equipped going into this area. I am going to take a sip of water. Put the glass down and announce everything I'm doing. So in Shell 2 core, D-Limes has to go pick up the Nikita missile launcher on the first basement floor. As Tyler heads into the perimeter. We'll explain the perimeter because there's not too much going on D-Lime's screen. So you got a cartwheel at just the right time here, and that will skip a little mini cutscene of a panel falling. And then you knock on the wall in such a position that the guard gets distracted by it and looks at the wall and not you. As you see, Tyler's actually unequipping, re-equipping his weapon. That actually does save a little bit of time while you're going along the wall. It's a form of like animation canceling. It's just faster that way. Then throwing a chaff to disable the ciphers, and then doing some Super Mario style platforming. Again, this is a platform game. To clear the gap. And entering Shell 2. Meanwhile, on D-Lime's screen, he has picked up the Nikita, and now it is time to save the President of the United States of America. We're going to fire a missile to wake up the President. So he is not asleep, and then we can do a shot to take out the electrical box, the generator. D-Limes actually goes for a safer approach for firing the Nikita. He climbs the little box. I am very sure that Tyler will not be doing that. He's going to be using the stair strategy, where you go onto that little staircase there, position yourself correctly, and then just fire the Nikita there, which saves it's like a second or so. Now, the President of the United States is going to explain the conspiracy baked within this conspiracy, baked within another conspiracy that you'll learn more about in the later games, within other conspiracies. It's some heavy stuff. He's also now dead. It's a real treat of a story. So the next thing D-Limes is going to be doing after some codecs is going back to the B1 and heading into a room where we will fight Vamp for the first time. And it's going to be a fun, exciting day of punching the vampire, but not kicking him until we need to. It's all fun and games until you need to kick the vampire. As you can see, Tyler positioning himself on the stairs, actually also taking some pretty exciting lines with this Nikita. You really don't want to mess up the Nikita, because if you do, when you bring the Nikita back into the President's room, you'll have to let the Nikita blow up early. If the President ducks, he crouches down and ducks, he's safe. If he falls on the ground and you fire the Nikita on the electrical box, he dies. And if you mess up the Nikita for the first shot, he will always fall down. At least in my experience, he'll always fall down. So D-Lime's doing his swim sequence here, going on through. That's actually I think that's the most optimal way to swim. I've always swum the wrong way in swim section. I'm not sure why. It's just like something I do. But he tried to pop open the codec a little bit too early. This is one of those codecs you don't want to hold select for, because it takes a moment for it to activate. Okay, so here's Vamp. He's gonna shoot Vamp with the M9 and then hang over the edge. And then Vamp's gonna come over and try to stab you while you're hanging down. And by the way, if you get stabbed by Vamp, it's a one-hit kill. And he's gonna be abusing his stab cycle to do punches. Meanwhile, Tyler's gonna be doing a completely different approach for swimming. he's going to actually use something we call the swim glitch and swim on this little corner while pressing left. And that'll allow you to actually swim over the area entirely. This does actually save time, so this is something Tyler definitely needed. D-Limes does not go for it. Speaking of D-Limes, he's about to finish up with Vamp. Finishes with that last cheeky punch. You'd rather not finish the fight with a punch. You want to finish it with a PPK combo. And look at that. Tyler's now in the Vamp room. So we'll see if Tyler can make up some pace here, because I think his lead is starting to bleed a little bit for D-Limes. That swim glitch, I think, helped a bit. So you can do a max of I think 10 punches to Vamp, but you got to be really careful because that knife swing has a much wider range than you think. You're like, oh, it's just a little knife. No, that hitbox is pretty big. So positioning, timing, and movement are all key. Let's see if he can get that last kick. He did. Oh, nicely done, Tyler. So if you finish with that last kick of the punch-punch-kick combo, that actually finishes the fight more quickly than if you punched him or whatever. And he saved a few seconds that way. So, like I said, Tyler's clawing back. It's like, no, Mr. Limes. Look here, I'm going to be doing some risky stuff, and I'm going to make up some time. And he certainly did. On top of it all, Tyler's not picking up the body armor, which I believe D-Limes did as well. So he is very serious about bringing this back. So the body armor is... For someone like me, that terrifies me, but Tyler's been playing without body armor for some time now. The body armor is very useful in Arsenal gear, which is the last chunk of the game, especially for Tengu 1, and it's most useful for Tengu 1 because you won't die as quickly. So we'll see if his gamble pays off at the end. Also, with the body armor, it means that you won't die in one hit to the machine gun fire from the rays at the end game, which isn't that big of a deal, honestly. Like, it's fairly easy to avoid getting shot by the rays, but anyways, I'm not even explaining the escort sequence here because there's a lot of exciting stuff with the pace going on. We're going to see how this all plays out. So we're escorting Emma Emmerich, who's the sister of Hal Emmerich, our buddy, Mr. Otakon. D-Lime's picking up the PSG-1T, getting some air for Emma, and making sure to avoid the bombs, because if you hit a mine, you're just instantly killed on European Extreme. There's a whole set of techniques for Emma here. You want to be in the right position to grab her hand. There's fast hand grabs and slow hand grabs. And D-Limes is going to do a little bit of a... Well, Emma doesn't like bugs, so we're instead just going to hug her through it. Just say, it's going to be okay, Emma. Let's just go to the elevator. Bring her in that way. One way or another, you know? So, 1F here, this area, you don't want to go super fast, actually. We're trying to hit a certain cycle with the guard, so that line seems bad, but it's actually just to time it out. So that guard crosses and doesn't spot us as we're leaving. This part can be a little bit tricky. There's a lot of guards we have to take care of. And there's a strategy that we'll see if Tyler's going to go for. It's called the Emma bump. That will allow you to skip these guards spawning in, but it's very precise to go for. D-Limes did not go for it. He instead just opted to trank the guards and go on with his way. Nice shooting Tex. Actually, D-Limes is not the Tex. Tyler's the Tex. Limes is the Buckeye. The Buck? The Buckaroo? He's from Ohio. This is what I'm saying. All right, so what's Tyler going to do? Is he going for the bump? No, he's not going for the bump. I don't blame him. Bump's really precise. Very, very precise. It's probably more trouble than it's worth most of the time. But I am not the best at this game. Oh, he did not hold up the guard. I hope he didn't call that in, or else this is gonna get really tight. Yeah, you're trying to go to the corner of that box there to hold them both up. Okay, it doesn't seem like HQ got that call. That's good. That was close. That was close. And I can't imagine Tyler's gonna go for the bump here. No, you can bump Emma through the doorway, and that'll actually put her forward, but that has a chance of causing Emma to fall through the floor. And if Emma falls through the floor, your game's soft, then your run is over. So not the best thing to go for in a race unless you're, you know, you want to bet all the marbles, put all the marbles on the table and see if they fall to the floor. As D-Limes is approaching the Twilight sniping sequence of this game, which is essentially an auto-scroller, but there are ways to save or lose time here. However, they are fairly minor. The deal is there's going to be claymores, there's going to be ciphers, there's going to be guards we got to take out. There's a lot to do. Tyler's going into strut L. He's going to trank these guards after bringing Emma forward a little bit. Oh, he missed. Okay, it's fine. Right, so I'm going to trank the guards who are hanging around. Do a couple little cheesy shots and then try to get these claymores on the opposite side. This claymore that D-Limes is going for by the corner of the pillar is so annoying to go for, by the way. It's something about like your positioning and the sensitivity of like the aiming. Like it's really hard to hit that thing. It's in like just the worst spot. If you're playing casually on this difficulty, it's very likely you're gonna miss that and Emma's gonna die. And then you gotta do the whole thing all over again. Oh, he missed! He missed the shot. Oh, he missed the shot again! Did he? Is he fine? Oh man, that was scary. It looked like he missed. Yeah, you don't want to miss, by the way, because if you do miss, then Emma's going to cower in fear and not move forward. And that loses a lot more time than you think. That was really close. That looked like he missed. Now, granted, maybe my preview's a little bit low res, but still. Okay. So this is definitely like the slowest part of the run, if you can't tell. I mean, it really all it comes down to is like putting your aim at the right spot and, you know, using the pentazimin to steady your aim at the right time so you can get easy shots going. Both of these players, they're really good. Like this area is not really going to give them all that much trouble, I'd imagine. Basically, the only way you could like really save time here is by having good menuing, and there's this weird thing that if you look at Emma with your scope on her, she'll actually fall over, so you want to avoid looking at her as much as possible. Say, get a drink of water. Tyler's showing the little trick here. If you quickly equip and unequip, it'll actually steady the aim of your rifle. D-Lime's going for the second silo, second pillar guards. And he did a good job of it too. He knows exactly where to aim, where the ciphers spawn in, all that fun stuff. He's prepared. So I'd say while we're just having a nice little chill moment of the run, I think I'll do a little bit of promo work for Pixels for Peace. I was not requested to do so, but I mean, it's probably for the best that do a little bit of promo work for this wonderful marathon. Pixels for Peace. Pixels for Fleece? I think it's Pixels for Peace. Well, they support an organization called Save the Children, which is an organization originally founded in the UK to better the lives of children who need assistance, whether that be through healthcare, war relief, etc. So it seems like a pretty great organization to support. And since the Metal Gear games, in part, are really about war and peace, I think it's very fitting that this game is in this marathon. So I want to put that out there. If you want to help out with this wonderful charity, you can do so by donating below on the panels. And I am aware that there also are some giveaways for this marathon if you're so inclined to donating. Why is Plywood not a host? Well, I mean, to be honest here, folks, I actually kind of forgot I was doing this commentary, which is a good thing since, as we said before, Apache Smash had emergency dental visits, so it's a good thing I was around and aware in some way. In some way. Oh, we're getting into something exciting. D-Limes is now going to be taking out Vamp 2. Or we call it Vamp 2. It's actually just shoot the guy in the knee. And D-Limes has found this really, I don't know if he found it, but there's this awesome spot you can aim at where you don't have to move left and right, which is fantastic because you just aim at his leg and it doesn't matter where he's moving Emma, you'll still hit Vamp. It's great. So D-Limes is officially entering Endgame. And now we enter Endgame. But as I said before, really is anyone's game. Tyler's behind by like, I don't know, a minute maybe? Something like that. I'm throwing the chaff and now has to navigate the panels that were dropped earlier. It's no big deal. He didn't drop a lot of panels. If you drop too many panels in one go, you'll actually be unable to cartwheel past the gap. But as long as you're cartwheeling, like that shouldn't happen. And both of these runners know how to time their cartwheels out perfectly. Basically want to like press X around the moment when Raiden lands. It's around that time. There's a certain rhythm to it. So we're going to get choked by the former president of the United States and kind of our dad. Oh, Tyler going for the alert. He doesn't care. I mean, he already lost Big Boss earlier, so I kind of get it. I think D-Limes is still on pace for Big Boss, though, so that's pretty cool. You don't actually need to mash triangle here. This quote-unquote torture sequence doesn't actually count. Yeah, maybe the tanker guard rush. That's right. The guard rush might have killed his big boss. It's hard to tell unless you go all the way to the stats. So, but that was a bit of a bit suspect. 57 seconds apart going into elevator. Yeah, roughly a minute. All right. Well, there you go. My rough calculus, advanced algebra, geometry, trig, quantum physics testing came up with a roughly good result. But anything can happen at Arsenal Gear. This is the end game, and seeing D-Limes call in Rose. Otherwise, you're just gonna kind of hang around till Rose calls you. So we call Rose instead. You need to talk to Rose to exit this room. So we have no gear, we have no clothes, we have nothing. And if a guard spots us, that's an automatic alert. So it's a very dangerous situation to be in. And we also lost a third of our health from Olga. Very important that we hold select going into this room to get that codec immediately, and then cartwheel past that guard. And we're going to see D-Limes using very smartly placed cartwheels and good movement to avoid this camera as it's scanning back and forth, and then cartwheel past this gap. Very important we land that jump. If you don't land that jump, you are in big trouble. You'll be wasting a lot of time running around. But that was a clean intro area to Arsenal. Now we're in the ascending colon, and this is essentially, well, when you play this the first time, you're like, how am I even supposed to advance here? What's even going on? You got to stand in a certain area, certain range in the ascending colon, listen to codec calls until Rose calls you. That's the deal. As Tyler has his time to shine in the first area of Arsenal. Let's see if he can manage the same movement that D-Limes did. He did. Nice. So the hard part is really over. Clearing that camera and clearing that gap. That's really the part you got to be super careful about. But he managed it just fine. So Snake comes back, gives us our gear, and he gives us a sword. The deal is here you need to do a slash and then be forward. By forward, I mean like up towards the door. That's the requirement here, and then it's just a timer. You're just supposed to practice your sword skills here. And then you can set up your menus. So the next area is the start of like the really tough spots in this end game. Tengu 1. Both runners are going to be trying to skip the Tengu 1 area. Now, because guards kill us so quickly, and Tyler doesn't even have body armor, so he dies in 2 hits. D-Limes, I think... Oh, is it he dies in 3? I'm not sure, but he's going to be throwing stun grenades. Both of them are going to be throwing stun grenades to stun the Tengus and run towards the door. Once they get to the door, they're going to be going into first person, doing a punch-punch-kick combo, and then coming out of first person on the kick, and that'll extend your hitbox through the door and hit the hitbox to get out of this room. Dion's already taken 2 hits. He's 1 hit from death now. I'm a little bit nervous for D-Limes here. This is already a little bit scary, but he's got a ton of stun grenades, so that does help. As long as he can land. Oh, his aim got knocked off. That is the... Oh! Boy. Yeah, so if your aim gets like locked onto a Tengu, you're not going to be able to do that skip. This could be the opportunity, the golden opportunity that Tyler needs, because D-Limes, that intro was... I'm sorry, it just was not clean. He got shot twice. Got shot again. Thankfully, he's got some HP to spare, but it's just not good to get shot here. It really doesn't help you with the cycles. This is a very, very tightly wound area. It's super easy to mess up on this difficulty. Oh, oh no. Okay, just get it going. D-Limes. D-Limes. As Tyler waiting out the stun. Approaching. D-Limes dies again. Tyler getting his first go at the door. Let's see what he can do. Remember, he has no margin for error here, and he does it. He does it without the body armor. Tyler, after an hour of being behind, he is finally back in the lead. He clawed his way back, and now is his chance. Tyler entering Tengu 2, which has its own skip here. He's going to run into Snake and then punch this Tengu and then choke him out very slowly as D-Limes himself enters Tengu 2 behind. So the deal is here. Oh no, the Tengu came into the room. Oh, get out. Get out of here. This is ridiculous. Oh man. So now it's D-Lime's lead because of what just happened. That is very unfortunate. Sometimes just annoying bad stuff can happen in this room. As I was referencing earlier with my race against Platonic Guy, this room, Snake can die potentially, even if he has the assault rifle out, which is his better weapon. Tengus can come into the room. They could shoot you. Bad stuff can just happen, and you really don't have a lot of control over it. You're just kind of banking on this skip working. It's not that the skip doesn't work, but the circumstances around the skip can mess you up. If a Tengu comes into the room, if Snake comes into the room, if Snake takes a lot of damage, etc. So you want to choke this Tengu extremely slowly, and Snake entered the room. This doesn't necessarily mean that Tyler's gonna die, but it's not good. We'd rather Snake be outside of this room rather than bring the Tengus over here. But sometimes Snake's like, oh yeah, man, let me come help you out. It's like, no, just go, you got this, go outside. So the deal is the game does not like the fact that like one Tengu's been alive for so long, and at a certain point it just says, you know what, forget about it. Go away. He lives. No, I will shoot you. I do not care. Go away. Oh boy. Oh, okay, well, so this is pretty much neck and neck. I mean, D-Limes has a slight lead, but I would call this neck and neck. This is now coming down to Raze, and I gotta say, folks, if I'm gonna bank on anyone doing Raze well or doing Raze better, it's D-Limes. He's extremely good at Raze. Not to take anything away from Tyler, he's good at Raze too, but D-Limes, he's a machine when it comes to the Raze on European Extreme. However, I would say that Tyler has a better Solidus fight typically than D-Limes. From what I've seen, anything can happen, folks. I mean, anything can happen, honestly. We can see, though, that the body armor really didn't make much of a difference for Tyler. He definitely had a good gamble there, but he just got a little bit trolled. That's the thing about Tengu 2. Things can get a little bit weird there. I had to drink some water there. Whew. Getting winded from all this excitement at the end game. This is a tight race, folks. This is a tight race. So here's the deal with the Raze. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of deals you have to make with this raid fight. Oh wow, this is a different setup I'm seeing from D-Limes. He's doing a more risky strat. He's clearly trying to pummel his lead into the ground. This is not what I typically see. Tyler's doing the more typical strat, and D-Limes is going for something much riskier to take out these rays quickly. This is a... All right, so let me start from the beginning here. So this fight is honestly pretty predictable. The thing is that for it to be predictable, you need to execute correctly. The rays have to cooperate, and you have to time your shots properly. So ideally what happens is that you keep this fight in a loop situation. And both of the runners did two very different approaches. Tyler did the more standard start. D-Limes went for a much riskier approach on the beginning. His D-Lime start is definitely faster, but it's way more prone to error. Thankfully, he didn't fail it. Now it's just a matter of, can Tyler keep up, or will D-Limes mess up? And like I said, D-Limes is really good at the race. I can't understate that enough, or overstate that. So essentially what you need to do for this loop is you need to address the ray on stage, and then basically keep the rays that are off stage in tandem. Eventually one ray is going to jump on stage, and then you address that ray, making sure to pick up some stinger ammo along the way. And that's pretty much the short and narrow of it. There's a certain spot that you'll see the runners stand on the side just to get a clear shot on everything. And the deal is, you need to shoot them in their open mouth to get the full critical damage. And then if you shoot them in the mouth without, or I guess more so the head without their open mouth, will do non-crit damage. And I believe it's 3 crit hits and then 1 non-crit hit to destroy the ray. So Tyler's just a little bit behind. Like, it really just comes down to if anyone, it's kind of like who blinks first at this point. Once again, I want to remind everyone that every attack from the ray will kill you, aside from the machine gun. Unless your name is Tyler 2022, who did pick up a body armor. And then, yes, every hit will kill you from the ray, which is, yeah, that's fun. So a very weird thing with firing stingers in this game is that you can fire it and then lock on. Depending on how you're, like, firing the stinger, you can actually curve the stinger in a certain direction. And curving the stinger can be very helpful because sometimes, like, the ray's arms get in the way if they're moving, and so you have to position your shots properly. D-Lime's had a little bit of an issue there. He wanted to hit that ray again, but he needed to go pick up ammo, so that is not ideal. I would not call that ideal, but I think he's still in a slight lead as far as the rays are concerned right now. I think he's ahead by, like, a ray, which really isn't a lot, by the way. That practically still means nothing. But they are both... Ooh, he almost got hit by the laser there. If he got hit by that laser, forget about it. It's over. It's over. You gotta be ready for that water cannon. Hit by that water cannon, say goodbye to a few minutes. So... And you'll notice that they're standing over on this side of the stage because that's around where the rays come in. I feel like Limes is starting to lose a little bit, but I think he's still a little bit ahead as far as the count is concerned. I mean, he's handling it okay, honestly. He's handling it a lot better than I do, I'll tell you that. Trying to time that stinger shot so that it hits just as they come out of iframes can be really tricky because you have to think about your distance relative to the ray and when did you hit the ray last. A good way to tell when to fire the missile is based off of its walk cycle. It does like a little like walk in place, like shuffles its feet, and you can use that as a visual cue of when to fire again. A lot of little tricks with the rays. Since they're all identical, like you really get a sense for what the rays are. And yep, indeed, D-Limes finishes first. D-Limes finishes first. And I would owe that mostly, that's mostly owed to the fact that he had that really fast start, honestly. Though, Tyler just needs to land a few more shots, and he's not landing it. Oh, man, that is so frustrating when you're, like, right at the end and you start missing shots. Okay, I mean, it was still a good Ray fight. Don't get me wrong, folks. Like, that was still a good Ray fight. Yeah, it was a little bit sloppy at the end, but, I mean, it was still clean. It's just that D-Lime said, look, dude, I know you've been playing risky this whole game, but I got my own set of risky right at the end. Man. So yeah, you do actually have to mash here, but on HD Collection, this mash is nerfed. It's not as long as on other versions of this game on European Extreme. It's only like 15 seconds, whereas like on, you know, PC or PS2, we're talking like at least a minute. So it's a little bit better. Also, Solidus takes less damage and deals less damage. I guess they just felt bad, like how hard the end of this was, so they nerfed it on the HD Collection. But even so, like, yes, D-Limes is ahead, but I've seen D-Limes mess up Solidus, okay? And I'm sure he's probably feeling a little bit of the pressure here because I've typically, from what I've seen, Tyler tends to have a better Solidus fight. The deal is here is that we're going to be looping Solidus with punches. And you're going to be punching Solidus on his bad side where his eye patch is, and then slashing him on his good side where his eye is, and just looping him that way. But because of how the camera moves around, and also just like nerves, like this can get a little bit gnarly. So like already D-Limes has messed up the first, like his first loop. He punched at the wrong spot. So we'll see what happens. He's gonna have to mess up quite a bit for Tyler to claw this back though. That much is true, but I mean, you get kicked a few times, you mistime your hits, like I could see it happening. It's not unrealistic, but it really is D-Lime's race to lose at this point. Like I said, the camera is really your enemy because, you know, your movement is camera relative, so it's quite easy to get a little bit, not nauseated, but just kind of lose your bearings. I think D-Limes did the right timing there. Yep, okay, he did. And he got the short dash. Okay, that's really good. That was a good phase one. Aside from the mess up at the start, he got the short dash from Solidus, and he timed out his quad punch correctly. So, really good. He counted correctly. Good job counting, D-Limes. He's got that accounting skills. And hopefully, he got the elbow, which is the best attack Solidus can give you. Very nice. Tyler also gets the short dash. Very good, but D-Limes is going to have to mess up like within the next 20 seconds for Tyler to actually win this. And I don't know, folks. It doesn't look like D-Limes is going to be messing up right now, but look at how tight this race is. My word. Who would have thought? I mean, I knew these two were probably going to have a tight race, but not this tight. Like, maybe, you know, a minute or so, but geez. Time is coming up for D-Limes. It's when the last hit on Solidus happens. Yeah, I think it's fair to say time for D-Limes. D-Limes is the winner of this race. 120-41. We'll see what Tyler pulls out. I think he's just going to be like 20 seconds behind D-Limes here. Oh, he missed. Oh, he timed it up incorrectly. It's fine, Tyler. It's fine. It's all good. He's spamming the camera because he's annoyed. It's fine. 121-10. Hey, man. It's all good. Look at that. Within 30 seconds of each other. Within 30 seconds of each other, these two runners. What a race. I know I've said that already, but what a race. Listen, folks. It's easy to say that this was a very exciting race for me to watch because Tyler clawing it back, clawing his way in the lead, then getting trolled by luck, and then that Ray fight from both runners was just exquisite, really. Fantastic display of skill, practice, and effort from both Tyler and D-Limes here. Wow. All I can say is wow. Yeah, if they have not unmuted yet. They've joined the call. Hello,
I'm here.
D-Limes. Welcome. Hello, Tyler. GG to both of you. That was a fantastic race to watch.
You know, I normally mess up Tango 1, and it would be a race whenever it comes down to the wire that I would just get it perfectly. Yeah, because I normally have like bad history with Tengu 1, and then Snake, didn't do his job in Tengu 2 the first time around, and that made it super close. But
Wait, you took a
it was a good
continue
race.
too?
Yeah, because Snake didn't fucking kill one of the
okay.
yeah.
I didn't see that part.
Yeah. He just didn't kill one of the Tengu simply, and I just died, so yeah.
Yeah. 2 deaths for me at Tengu 1. I had to dig deep at race since I lost the loop, but that was a hell of a race for sure.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I was so flabbergasted. I'm like, look at D-Lines with this risky setup on Rays, and that was honestly, I think, what really sealed your win there was that start. Because both of you were like, it was like a, I don't know, 10-second gap, 15-second gap going into Rays.
Yep.
I
It was
mean,
close.
this is very, very close. So I gotta say, even though there were some issues and some mistakes, like I gotta say, Tyler, well done on
Yeah, it was
bringing
close. I
it
was
back
trying to
like
reel it
that.
back. Yeah, because I was watching pretty much the entire time. Like I had it on another window, so I was looking at my pace, and I had 3 continues in Tanker. I don't know if you saw that, Limes, but
I did. Yep.
yeah, I just had a brain fart at the guardrail section, and then I kept on trying to squeeze by on hold 1, doing risky strats because I kept on failing ladder glitch, like getting onto the ladder. So, but yeah, it was good. Tried to reel it back. I was pretty much on edge the entire plant section and like keeping track of like where I was at and trying to like, see if I should take things risky or not. The one fight that I think that I did fairly well was the Fat Man fight.
You both did really well.
It looked like he did that fight well as so.
He
yeah, it was a good
probably had
race.
a slight edge on Fat Man, but both were really clean. I mean, the whole thing, it was really interesting to watch, in part because D-Limes typically went for like more consistent, safer, more, let's say race safe strats, and then you were like, nah man, I gotta pull this back.
Well, especially since I'm behind, I like kind of have to
but yeah, I think that's gonna be Metal Gear Solid 2. If any of you wonderful people out there are interested in learning MGS2 or any Metal Gear game, I'm going to do a little bit of promo work here and say check out our website, metalgearspeedrunners.com. You can check out our Discord and our community where people run all kinds of Metal Gear games, not just MGS2. But yeah. Thanks for having me on for Pixels for Peace for this wonderful MGS2 HD Collection European Extreme Race. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. McButter.